Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move to our second segment. This is Alderman Napolitano, Chicago's North Side, an ex-cop. And where is he speaking? Not to the Chicago media. He's speaking to Fox News, the national Fox News. You know, that bastion of integrity. They're not being sued for pushing the election fraud machine issue thing, are they? Oh, I think they are, right? Their nighttime people have gotten out of, are trying to get out of being sued about pushing that by saying they're not journalists, they're just entertainers, so they can lie. So we're going to take a look. This segment, it runs 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and I was going to clip it, but I just really think it's best if you just see it all at one piece. Then we're going to come and talk about it. Okay, so I will see you on the other side.
Well, a bloody weekend in the Windy City. At least 10 people are dead and 35 are hurt in shootings across Chicago. Chicago Alderman and former police officer Anthony Napolitano joins us now to react. Good morning to you, sir. You know, one of the people who was shot and killed over the weekend was a 19-year-old member of the National Guard. He was just about to turn 20 years old, and he wanted to become a police officer, and his life was taken this weekend. And Mayor Lori Lightfoot has made statements saying that she thinks that illegal guns are the problem in the city. What do you think?
Yeah, I've been asked that question numerous times, and I think that's pure nonsense. We have the strongest and the strictest gun laws in the state, if not the country. And if you go to our surrounding borders right now, where we're supposedly getting all the guns for, they have nowhere near the amount of crime that we do. We have a people problem here in Chicago. I've been saying this for a long time. We have zero accountability for parents in the city of Chicago. Nobody's raising their kids anymore. The gangs are raising them. We have a state's attorney that is by far the worst in the nation, and it's all a trickle-down effect. This is what we're ending up with right now.
Well, your fellow alderman Raymond Lopez, he sits on the other side of the political aisle, but he is equally criticizing Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Take a listen to what he has to say.
The mayor is not up to the job to keeping the city of Chicago safe, and we want her on record, not in a backroom meeting. We want her on record to explain how she's going to keep Chicagoans safe. It is out of control, and we need to get some results that keep people safe.
So is there pressure on Lori Lightfoot among local leaders like yourself? Because I struggle to think that there is. I mean, I'm sure she does have some support at the local level because she still is implementing these policies that are really affecting and sort of undercutting the police officers' ability to do their job. So what's the local dynamic there?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. Actually, just this last Friday, Alderman Lopez, myself, and another alderman, Alderman Beal, we put together a special city council meeting, and we got actually up to 47 aldermen to show up on behalf of this crime issue and what the mayor is going to do and how she's going to be held accountable for this. The superintendent of police actually showed up as well, and we kind of grilled them all. And at the end, I realized it's kind of a smoke and mirror tactic right now. There is no real plan in place. So as legislators, I just think that we have to change the dynamic of the way we go after crime.
Yeah.
We're going to have to hit crime in the pocket, and that's the only way we're going to do it. They're hurting us financially, so we're going to have to start hurting crime financially as well.
What do you mean by that?
So everything that we do as far as our officers, when they arrest these criminals, these handguns, these people on the street, these wildings that are looting and destroying our city, pretty much when they hit the cell, they're out within a couple hours because we have the worst state's attorney in the country, wants to prosecute nobody. So as legislators, if we start changing the way our city ordinances are written, we could start hitting criminals in the pocket on behalf of what crimes they're committing in the city of Chicago alone. State's attorney could drop all of her charges every day of the week like she's been doing, but we should take care of it more at the local level, and that's a way that we could start curbing crime here.
Yeah, interesting.
And it's a tactic that a couple of us are, yeah, we're excited about it.
Okay, yeah, and you know, just to be fair to the mayor, this is a problem that does predate her, so you're saying that there could possibly be a financial solution to it. You were a police officer. What sort of issues are police officers facing now that you weren't when you were on the beat?
We weren't afraid to be the police, and I don't mean that to slight the police officers. They love being the police. But right now, they know there's nobody backing them. All these aldermen, that different parts of the city want them to go out and combat crime, but they'll be the first ones that throw them under the bus if something goes the wrong way. We're averaging over 6,000 people shot in the last 18 months. This is a war zone. Things are going to go wrong. The officers can't be held accountable for everything that happens. So we have to let them be the police, or we're never going to get ahead of this crime issue.
Yeah.
And that's I didn't have that when I was a cop, but it was go out and do the job.
You know, Anthony, you're so right. I was talking to a police officer. I was in Chicago last weekend, and he was saying that it's not so much the defund issue. It's sort of just being demoralized and feeling like you can't do your job because the mayor and the local leaders aren't there to support you. So you got to get support for the police so they could do their job and keep streets safe. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. A lot of craziness, cluelessness to go in there. First of all, did you get did you get the taste, the vibe of not liking facts? So, science, 2 different labs, 2 independent sets of academics, different schools, different relationships with the police department, and the prosecutor's office and everything, have looked at bond reform and says it isn't it. He doesn't care. Because they won't let facts interfere with their ideology. He knows. White, straight, male, he knows. Right? Do you get Trumper in there? He knows. He just knows. Don't worry about what the experts say. The experts are always wrong. He knows. So, let's talk about the propaganda. Strictest gun laws in the country. BS. That's bullshit. Plain and simple, ladies and gentlemen. Why do I know? Because the strict law that they're talking about is a city ordinance. It never even gets prosecuted. Never. They charge it and then they drop it. Because unlawful use of a weapon, the state law has much more serious consequences. The city law is propaganda. It was there for Mayor Daley and the others before him to say we have strict gun laws. That law is meaningless. And he's an alderman and a cop, and he should know both, but he doesn't. He does know. He's just lying. That's what he does. Now, tell me again, let me ask you the question, ladies and gentlemen. What sense does it make for a cop to be pro-Second Amendment? How is it safe for cops who the vast majority of, or a huge majority of their calls when there's anything to do with violence is domestic violence and domestic disturbances, going into homes where they don't know whether or not there's a gun in there? How is that safe for them? They don't care. They don't care. They just want everyone to have. They want all white people especially to have guns. He says it's not guns. Indiana's got the loose laws, and look, they don't have the violence. Well, yes, your urban areas, baby, in Indiana do have the violence. Gary was the murder capital of the world for God knows how long. No. That is just wrong. It's just that 98% of Indiana is rural. You can't compare rural and urban. It just doesn't work. Worst state's attorney's office ever. Why? Oh, because they're doing this bond reform thing. The bond reform thing that 2 different sets of academics, unrelated to each other, have said the main program you're complaining about doesn't have any impact on violence. That's the worst one? Okay. Their speech here, Alderman Lopez, we'll get to him in a minute too, and Napolitano, this is all theater. They're just as useless as most of the other aldermen. They've done nothing to change the economics of the city. They don't care. They don't care. He wants to attack them economically. So he's going to attack people that come from the most underserved, under-resourced, underemployed, most struggling, most disenfranchised communities. We're going to attack people like that financially. Think about it a minute, people. Think about it. If you're willing to go do a drive-by and worried about retaliation from whoever you tried to do the drive-by, are you going to worry that you got a $1,000 fine for that offense from the city? And if you have no money, Alderman Napolitano, there's a thing called judgment proof. There's a phrase, you should go learn it, which means when you're broke and you have no resources, the financial penalties that you can place on those people are meaningless. Are meaningless. This is just all so stupid. It's all stupid. This is, and also, ladies and gentlemen, don't be fooled for a minute. This is Napolitano fighting any effort to put in any kind of police accountability. He seems to be fine with the Laquan McDonald murder, and we can go on and on and on and on about the corruption in the city, in the police department. He must be fine with all of it. I don't know what to say, but this is all theater about not wanting to put in accountability. He doesn't want any accountability for the cops of any kind ever for anything. I mean, so what does he do? He goes, I don't know what he thinks that's getting him on Fox News, other than his other Trumpers all giving him fist bumps at the family party or something. I don't understand what does he think Chicagoans care what's on Fox News? I don't understand. I don't understand the political calculus there. Who am I? Okay, so our next segment, let's not go too far down the road. Instead of Fox National, we're going to Fox Local. This is Mike Flannery in this piece, the journalist. I guess we still got to kind of call him that. I wouldn't really call him that, but anymore. Most parties gone off the deep end. Him and Greg Hines were complaining, I think in August, at a press conference that Fox did to push back at what the mayor and Brown were talking about it being all, this is August of last year, the reason we had a second surge in the unrest is because the prosecutor's office hasn't prosecuted people. As if prosecutions from May to August take only a couple of months. Yep, that would have been, jury trial, seated, selected, trial goes, only in a couple months. It happens all the time. If only one of them had experience, Brown, 30 years as a police officer, I think he'd know that. Yeah, he did. He was lying. And then see, Lightfoot. Oh, that's right, she's an assistant U.S. attorney. She knows that too. So, in fact, they were both lying. But anyways, Fox holds a press conference to push back, and Mike Flannery and Greg Hines, they're very similar now. Neither one's worth a crapola. But push back on, and they were questioning Fox about why didn't, it's your fault and why these convictions and why you haven't prosecuted these people. And Fox is like, the courts have been shut down since before the unrest started because of COVID, my friends. They're just now about to start opening up. How are we supposed to prosecute anyone? What are you talking about? Now, the biggest problem is these two, Flannery and Hines, bought the bullshit from Lightfoot and Superintendent Brown. They should have known the courts were closed. If they're going to go to that press conference, both of them, and they're going to do those questions, they should have known that. But once again, you're talking about white males that don't let facts stand in the way of their ideology. So they took what was fed to them by the mayor, hook, line, and sinker, and the superintendent went and got, they were going to get Fox. Show how tough a journalist they are. Asking her, pushing her, to get her to explain why she didn't get convictions on people in like 3 months from the original unrest. In 3 months, while the courts were completely shut down from before the unrest happened till they were just starting to open. I don't think they had opened up yet. It's the dumbest question in the history of the world. They should have been fired. As soon as they got back to their jobs, they should have been fired. Or maybe just called up on the phone by their bosses and terminated right there and there. You don't go to that press conference without knowing that answer. And you don't ask such a stupid question. Also, both those guys, they're old. They're old. They know it takes more than 3 months to prosecute someone. We have people that sit in Cook County Jail 2, 3, 4, 5 years before they get their day in court. They were expecting them to be convicted within 3 months. No, they fed the bullshit by Lori Lightfoot, and they just pushed it. You're supposed to be a check to power, gentlemen, not a megaphone. But all too often, you're a megaphone.